if you're a mechanic or you've ever worked worked on anything in the garage, you can feel my pain right now, man. Well, I'm not sure if you saw my other video of how I was going to recondition this engine. Take everything off, get everything painted, you know, make sure everything's all nice and cleaned up, and then put it back together with new parts. Didn't have to tear the engine apart, as far as I know, right now. Once I put this together and I put all this stuff on there, then I'm going to start it and hopefully it doesn't smoke. If it does smoke, then I'll deal with that later. But for now, I'm going to show you how to put one of these together. So once again, it hasn't been torn apart, but all the little, you know, nooks and crannies and all the little side covers and the carburetor and all that stuff has been taken off. So let's start putting it together, and I'll tell you what I'm doing, and then we'll see if it starts whenever we're done. Let's see here, what do I want to do first? Let me go ahead and get a spark plug. I'm gonna get a brand new spark plug, and I'm gonna gap it. So I have a NGKR spark plug, BPR 6ES, NGK. I'm going to gap this to right around 28, 29, which is, they usually come a little, yeah, it's right around 32 right now. So we're gonna knock it down a little bit. And this is what Kawasaki recommends. So we'll do a little gapping here, and we will gap it to right at 29. All right. Got that at 29. We'll go ahead and put this in there so nothing can get inside there. And then we'll go ahead and tighten it down. Let's get it snugged up. So I have a brand new spark plug, brand new air filter, all that good stuff. And then you need to tighten it enough to crush the crush washer, but not too tight. Okay. All right. Now that we got that on, what I'm going to do is I am going to put the carburetor on. So I got a brand new carburetor for these Honda, well, not this isn't Honda, for these Kawasaki FE120s. You can just go online and go to like eBay and Amazon, and they have Kawasaki FE120 carburetors. They're aftermarket, but they work great. I mean, the one that's on there that came with it, it's such an old engine. I mean, it was gummed up pretty bad, and I don't have like a ultrasonic cleaner or anything, and I'm not really a carb guy, so I'm going to put this on there, and I haven't had any problems with doing that. And if you get a OEM manufacturer carburetor, they're like $150. They're pretty expensive. So I just get these. Works good. Now right here, you're going on this plate right here that goes in the carburetor. The first thing that goes on this housing is going to be a gasket, and then there's a plastic plate that goes on there just like that. So make sure you get that on there. Now with your carburetor, you're going to get extra gaskets. You're going to get a couple of extra gaskets to come with it. So you want to put those on there. They're going to be new. You're going to have one that has some little spots in it. So this choke is going to go towards the outside, and the throttle we'll go towards the inside. So it looks to me this gasket is going to go on the outside of the carb because it has those two little holes right there and it fits over there just perfectly. So that means this one's going to go on the inside. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and slide this on with that gasket. All right. Okay. Now what we'll do is I'll get the governor spring and get it cleaned off because I haven't cleaned that yet. So I pretty much use brake cleaner for almost everything. I mean, it's ridiculous how much brake cleaner I'll go through. I've just made some Facebook posts about brake cleaner. I got a whole case over here. By case, that means 48 cans. So it's basically a bundle. But you end up going through a lot. So if you're actually reconditioning these Greensmowers like I do, you're going to need a lot of brake cleaner. So these mowers that I recondition are for sale. So if you're looking for a Greensmower, or you know somebody that's looking for a Greensmower, just hit me up. We can talk about it. I'll talk your ear off when it comes to Greensmowers and grass, so you'll get sick of listening to me. And I'll probably repeat myself about 1,000 times. But you can ask me questions and tell me what you're looking for. And I might be able to find somebody that has it if I don't have it, or if I'm backed up on orders. If you're looking for a John Deere or a Toro, basically, then could probably help you out finding one. You know, could be a Flex or whatever it is that you're looking for. Okay, so this little governor spring goes on here, and it's going to keep that idle in check. All right. See if I can get this guy in there. Let me get my needle nose. Sometimes they get a little bit stubborn because there's not much room. Not much room for these to go in. They both go in the exact same hole. Go on there. Get in there. Yep, there we go. Okay, got that on, and that governor will keep the throttle at bay. So this allows the engine to run at a specific idle. So when you idle it up, so it doesn't just run off the planet and blow up on you, this governor right here is inside the engine, and as the engine spins on the inside, it's going to keep pulling your throttle closed, so that way it doesn't rev up so bad that it ends up blowing up on you. Okay, that'll be good for now. I can finish this later. I'm going to get the ignition coil. I've already cleaned it up, as clean as it's going to get. Let me find the bolts that go in it, and we'll put these guys in there. There's going to be a electric wire, okay, right here, and that's going to come off of your on-off switch back here. You're going to have a switch on the engine, and it'll be right back here, and we'll look at that later. So this will go on your coil. And then you make sure this goes up towards the spark plug, and then put these back in. Bear with me, I'm pretty new to these videos. I know they probably suck, probably pretty boring to watch, but if you're interested, you can stick around. If not, I totally get it. I mean, we all have attention spans like a gnat these days, so you be fast forwarding and getting tired of listening to me, so I completely understand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of paper in between the coil and this flywheel. you need to have just a little bit of space in there so when this rotates around, it doesn't hit the coil as it rotates. And you're not a whole lot of space, so about a paper width, maybe like a business card or something like that. If you had a business card, it would be perfect. There's a magnet on the flywheel. As that magnet spins around, it hits this coil, and that's what creates the spark inside this and pushes it to your spark plug down into your engine as this rotates. So we're just going to put a little bit of paper there, and what I'm going to do is get a 10 millimeter. Everything on the engine is going to be metric because this engine came from Japan. It's Kawasaki. It's a Japan-made engine. So everything on the engine is going to be metric, and everything on the mower is probably going to be standard because it's a Toro mower and it's United States. And same thing with John Deere. John Deere has a Honda GX120, and everything on the engine is going to be metric. Everything on the mower is going to be standard. So we have a 10 millimeter here. And I'm going to tighten it up just enough to get it snug. And I'm going to make sure that rotates, and it does. Then keep tightening it. Don't want to over tighten it, but make sure it ain't going to come off. All right. Now, when you take that off, it should be perfectly fine. Rotates around, doesn't hit anything. If you hear some rubbing or something, then you'll need to redo it again. We'll go ahead and plug this guy in here. Okay. All right, we got that. Now, I think I might do the tank last. That's what I think I might do. We'll see. Let's go ahead and put the muffler on. So I got everything painted. Muffler's painted. So I got the muffler painted black. Looks good, right? Looks shiny and new. That's the whole point. That's what I like to do. So if you buy a mower from me, it'll look brand new, unless I just don't repaint it. But I tear all my mowers down and repaint them. I don't do that to trick you, to make it look like it's new. I do that because I replace a lot of parts, and I like to paint them because I like them to look new. When you pick a mower up for me, I want you to look at it and be like, man, that thing looks awesome. So let me get that. There's a couple of spacers that go on there, and I always forget where they go and which ones they are. May take me a second to get this figured out, but we will get it figured out. So I know for sure, this guy's just going to go right on there. There will be a gasket that goes in between the muffler and the engine. It's a high temperature gasket. You can take the muffler off and put it right back on. It should be fine. It's not going to mess anything up or anything crazy like that. I know there is there's going to be a couple of spacers, real small spacers, and they go on a couple of areas. I got another mower over here that I like to look at and reference. Sometimes I look at the wrong things and sometimes I don't, but okay, we have spacer and a washer. Spacer, washer, washer, nut. Spacer, washer, washer, nut. Let me find a nut. I got this spacer here. Let's try it out. Okay, we're gonna go spacer, washer, and we're gonna put this guy on. Okay, and then we're gonna go washer, nut. It's the same washers that came off of it when I took it apart. So just keep all your bolts and your nuts and all that stuff on the engine, unless you just really want to replace all of them for new stuff. But these nuts that go on here, they don't have a flange or anything. They go on the muffler, and it's the only It's the only nuts that I had to take off that didn't have a flange on them. I'm not going to tighten this one up because there will be another little shield that I always forget. Never fails. Never fails. You end up losing a nut somewhere. Then you have to dig it out. If you're a mechanic or you've ever worked on anything in the garage, you can feel my pain right now, man. You know, it's always that 10 millimeter, right? You get that 10 millimeter, you end up losing it in the engine bay. Let's see here. Okay, I think I can get it. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Oh my gosh. I don't want to leave that in there. If I leave that in there, I'm sure I'm going to end up turning the engine on and it's going to end up getting stuck in something. All right, we're back. I finally got it. Took me a second to dig it out. Pretty annoying. Okay, I think this is a 10 millimeter also. These nuts that go on here. Oh my god, I almost did it again. Freaking idiot. These mufflers are usually good. Sometimes they're rusted out. You'll be able to hear stuff rattling around inside them. And you might need to buy a new one. If you need a Honda part, like a Honda GX part, you can get that. Either John Deere. You can go straight to John Deere. Or you can just go on Amazon or something like that and get a aftermarket muffler. I mean, you know, people are going to frown on all this aftermarket stuff, but if you've seen some of the stuff that these golf courses do to these mowers, then aftermarket muffler is not going to be that big of a deal, honestly. If it works, it works. Right there. Should be fine. We got her all tightened up. Looks good. Got the lock washer on there, so it ain't going to come off. Put these back over here. Okay, now we have like another plate, a couple of extra plates that go on this, but I don't think I want to put them on right now. It's kind of trial and error sometimes. That's going to go right around there. It's going to go right up in there. I should be able to put that on. No problems. All right, we get another bolt. This outside one here. That'll hold it on. And there's a little heat shield. The heat shield that's going to go on right here. There'll be one more spacer. Okay, you'll have another spacer. Then I'll need a little bit longer bolt because of that spacer. So the spacer will go this is going to go on first. There'll be one right there. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Tighten it up. That's why most people don't take these things apart and repaint them and stuff, because it's kind of tedious work, really. Okay. Now we're going to put this bolt on. And then this little spacer is going to go right over there. And then it's going to go right in this hole. There. Why is it like that? Not exactly sure, but that's how it goes. And this will just, okay. Now, tighten this up. Tighten this up. Hopefully when I'm done, engine runs fine. I don't have to take all this crap back off. Okay, muffler's on. Looks good. Muffler's on. I got these shields on for the belts. So that's good. Alright, I have this guy is going to go on the flywheel a little bit later. So I don't want, man, every time I put this tank mount on, it's always in the way. But I need to do that because I'm going to put new lines. I'm going to put new fuel lines on the mower. So get yourself some new fuel lines. I can't remember what size these are exactly, but take the old lines off, and if you want to put new ones on, just measure them. Just measure them out, and then cut them to whatever length you need. So I measured this one, you know, just cut it to length. Same thing with this one, whatever was on there, I just cut it to length also. You know, you don't have to, if you're missing the original or you don't have it, then just plug it up here, you know, let the whole thing hang off, figure out how much you need, and just cut it off. Not a big deal, really. All right, let me put this tank mount on there. When you put the tank mount on, the part that flares up is going to go in the back of the engine, opposite of the valve cover. I'll go ahead and put these 4 bolts in that go in the mount. And as I stated in the other video, if you didn't watch it, which you probably didn't, yeah, I cleaned the engine with brake cleaner. Just like I said earlier, I use brake cleaner for almost everything. Get the non-chlorinated brake cleaner because you're going to need it to not hurt your plastic parts and your painted stuff. You don't want it melting your plastic and your painted stuff. So make sure you get non-chlorinated so you're not hurting anything. And let's find out what size we need right here. Not that. You end up losing all your sockets all over the place, and you gotta hunt them down. Okay, that's gonna be a number 12. 12, there you are. Socket. Most of the mower on a John Deere is going to be 13 millimeter, 13 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter. That's pretty much all you really need. Same thing for this. 12. We'll go tight down just in case. Tight. 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 Now we got that on. So here's the tank. All right, I repainted this tank black. All right. You don't have to repaint it. Obviously, it doesn't have to be repainted. But then here's my new gas line. There's a little spot on the bottom of the tank, and the line will go right over the top of that. Push it on. We will need to put the little clamp. It comes with a little clamp, and then you put that on. Okay, the clamp. Okay. All right, we're going to set this on here. Then when we put this on, it goes over the flywheel. Okay. So when we put this on later, And this will come down, it'll go through this little loop right here. There's a little loop on the side of the flywheel cover, and this will go through the loop down to a fuel shutoff valve. All right, go ahead and tighten it up. All we got to do is put this flywheel cover on and then get our gas lines hooked up. And we're pretty close to being done after that. Not a whole lot left, really. It's really not a whole lot to it, honestly. Once you just take something apart, you'll see that it's really not as complicated as you thought it would be. It's more intimidating than anything before you start. Let's see if we can't snug these guys up. Hopefully we don't have to take that back off again. No big deal if we do. Tight. I'm gonna get a real small extension to get in there. Kind of tight. Tight. All right. I didn't take the spring right here. There's a little spring that goes on this governor thing. So I didn't take the governor arm off or the little spring that goes on there. I just cleaned everything as it was. You don't have to take that off unless you want to, or if it's broken. All right, now I need a shutoff valve. So on these Kawasaki FE120s, we're gonna have a fuel shutoff valve. So I got a brand new fuel shutoff valve. And it'll look like this, all right? And it's gonna go right here, okay? There's a little fork right here. And it's gonna go inside that fork. And I need to find the old one. There's gonna be a nut, a large nut and a washer that goes on the top of it. Okay, let me take a look at this one real quick, just to see where they put the washer on this one. I think it went under. So, washer underneath, nut on the top. All right, we're just gonna snug it up on there for now. I got this thing on backwards. Here we go. Make sure the shutoff is facing you. All right. Okay, I haven't tightened that up yet. So this will go through there. Okay, you may not have that. It could be broken off. They definitely get broken off sometimes. I got another clamp. Gonna go on the end. I'll put this fuel line on. Motorcycle, tiny motorcycle. Some kid in the neighborhood riding by. Appreciate that, buddy. Okay, we got that. Okay, I'll get this other fuel line. It's gonna have a couple of clamps also. I'm just gonna put a clamp on both sides. Just save the clamps that were on the engine already. If you're gonna replace these, just save the clamps and reuse them. Or just like anything else, you can get them online. You can get brand new clamps on Amazon. If you buy brand new gas lines, or wherever you buy the gas lines, you should be able to find clamps and stuff. Now on the inside of this carburetor, there's going to be a little spot to put the fuel line. So shove it on the carburetor. Okay, get that fuel line on. Get your clamp, needle nose pliers. Put your clamp on so it doesn't go anywhere. All right, now on these engines, there's a little there's a little spot right here and right behind here that fuel line's going to go through, and it kind of clicks into like a tiny little crevice or a hole, and you'll push it inside that, and it'll look like it's trying to cut the line, but it doesn't. Okay, then we're going to put this gas line on here on the back of the fuel shutoff valve. Okay, get your pliers, put the clamp on the back. Okay, that's on. All right, everything's on. We're pretty close to done, to be honest with you. So let me get the 4 bolts that hold on this tank, and let's go ahead and tighten it up. Snug. All right, perfect, good to go on that. Let me go ahead and get this tightened up right here. I think that's going to be a 11/16, somewhere right around there. This is what I'm going to use at least. Go ahead and snug this nut up. Kind of a hassle to get in there, honestly. Take that clamp up. Let's see if we can't get in there. Snugged up. Alright, I think we got it. Okay. Got it snug. Fine. Got the fuel line where it's supposed to go. Put this clamp back on. Okay. Turn this off for now. Alright. Go either way. Turn that off. Alright, let's put the carburetor completely together. I'm going to have 2 more of these. Alright, on the outside here, on the outside of the carburetor, this is your choke right here. Remember, you have that gasket with the deal, so just line up the little slots with the carburetor. Okay, so we can breathe. And then you're going to have the back side of the carburetor, and there's going to be a metal piece that goes inside. So you'll make sure you get that metal piece stuck in there correctly. And let's put this on. We'll go ahead and get this snugged up and make sure this goes on that breather up there that goes into the valve cover. You don't want to over tighten this right here. It's pretty sensitive. I mean, you know, it's just cast iron carburetor. You don't want to get too crazy with it, but we'll snug it up. Okay, nice and snug. Don't need to put the air filter on, honestly, right now. It's not a big deal. So we have the coils on, it's tightened up, spark plugs in, mufflers on, everything's tightened down, flywheel covers on. We'll put the actual pull cord on later. Don't need that for now, because what we're going to do is just use a drill. We're just going to use a drill to turn it for now and make sure it starts. So let me find all my tools again. If I can. I'm telling you, you know what I'm talking about. You end up setting something down and then 2 minutes later you forget where it goes. Alright, Make sure you have it on fast, not slow. All right, let's put a little fuel in here and see what happens. We're ready to put some fuel in. Try not to spill it on your tank because you just painted it. You don't want it to mess your paint up. Okay. All right, we got that in. Inside the tank, you'll have, on these Kawasaki's, this big fuel tank, you'll have one of these. It's just a little filter to catch any debris, grass clippings, dirt, debris, anything coming out of your little gas tank. That's your gas container that you're going to put gas in here with. It's going to catch anything like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to try to start this. All right, I'll back you up. Everything's good. I don't have the on-off switch on here right now, so I probably won't be able to turn it off with that. So what I'll do is I'll just pull the spark plug off the wire. So I'm going to turn the fuel on, okay, and then I'm going to see if it drains, if there's any leaks. Alright, I don't see any leaks, so our gaskets must be good, our clamps must be good. Okay, this is your choke right here. Okay. On a Kawasaki, you're going to push the choke towards the air cleaner. Okay, that's going to be your choke. I have no idea where the throttle's at. If I start this thing up and it goes batshit crazy, then I'll just yank the spark plug off. There goes nothing. All right, now I ended up putting the shut-off switch on there. So we'll put it to the run position and make sure this thing starts up. Everything's on there, nice and buttoned up. Let's see what happens. Got it on the run.